All right, everyone. So back at Ocean's 11, I've played this game before, but they added the double board bomb pots into the mix. So you're going to see PLO and double board bomb pots today. First interesting hand, I look down at King 10 9 8 single suit in the cutoff. We go to flops of Ace 6 3 with 2 diamonds and Ace Queen Jack with 2 clubs. Checks to me, I bet 80, and only the big blind makes the call. So we're going heads up to a couple turns. The turns bring an 8 of hearts on the top and a 3 of spades on the bottom. My opponent checks, and no point of doing anything here besides potting it. And my opponent takes a little bit, but then pushes all in over the top, and of course I make the call. So we're going heads up to 2 rivers. The rivers bring a king on the top and a jack on the bottom. I turn over my hand, and my opponent turns over his. He has ace queen 8-3. So he had 2 pair on both boards as well as a flush draw. And we actually both had outs to scoop each other, but we're going to chop it up here. Shortly after the previous hand, I look down at 10-5-4-3 single suit in the big blind. We go to flops of queen 3-2 with 2 hearts and queen 6-4 rainbow. Checks to me, and obviously I have a decent amount of equity on both boards, but I definitely don't want to have to pay a full pot size bet to see the turn. So I tried Josh's strategy and bet $10, and we get 3 callers. So we're going 4 ways to 2 turns. The turns will bring an ace on the top and a 6 on the bottom. This time I size up a little bit to 90, and we get 1 caller. So we're going heads up to 2 rivers. Rivers bring a 2 on the top and a 10 on the bottom. And at this point, I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to win the bottom board. So I just pot it in hopes of getting him off a chop. And he thinks a little bit and does fold. So we take it down here. Shortly after the previous hand, we're still on double board bomb pots. I look down at King 10-2, single suit in middle position. We go to flops of Queen and King 10-3 with 2 spades. Checks to me, and obviously if someone has a queen, they're going to call, but I can also get value from a spade draw or a straight draw on the bottom. So I bet the full pot and everyone folds, so we take it down here. Shortly after the previous hand, I look down at ace 7-3 single suit in the big blind. We go to flops of queen 8-7 with 2 spades and 9-9-8 rainbow. Action checks to me, I check. Player to my left is named Zach. I've played with him a bunch, really nice older guy. He goes ahead and pots it over to a late position player who makes the call, and I also call. So we're going 3 ways to 2 turns. The turns bring a king on the top and a 2 on the bottom. I check. Zach doesn't slow down and pots it again. Late position player quickly calls. And in these double board bomb pots, as I mentioned before, you really want to be able to scoop the entire pot. So in this situation, at least one of my opponents is going to have a 9 on the bottom. So that pretty much gives me 2 outs to win that board. So for those reasons, I decided to fold, and they end up going heads up to a couple rivers. The rivers brought a 10 of spades on the top and an ace on the bottom. So gin for me had I stayed in. They end up getting all the money in. Zach turns over 9-8-6-4. So he flopped the full house on the bottom and rivered the straight on the top. And the button also turns over a 9 with queen 9-7-6. So he also has the same straight on the top, and Zach's going to get 3/4 of the pot here. Here we're just playing regular old PLO. I look down at King Jack 5 single suit in the cutoff. Folds to me, I make it 40, and the button and the big blind make the call. So we're going 3 ways to a flop. Up comes Queen 10-4 rainbow. Checks to me, I bet 80. The button folds over to the big blind, whose name is Calvin. Really nice guy. He does a little bit more than a min click and makes it 200, and he has a little bit over 200 behind. So for that price, definitely can't fold for another 120. So I go ahead and make the call, and we're going heads up to a turn. The turn doesn't change anything with a 6, and as expected, Calvin puts it all in the middle for 230. And, I'm pretty much never good here, but obviously I'm never also drawing dead. So I make the call, and we're going heads up to a river. River is a pretty bad card and another queen, and Calvin turns over his hand. He has ace, queen, jack 10. So he flopped top 2 and rivered the boat, and he's going to take it down here. I rebuy another $500 and then look down at ace 10-7-6 single suited on the button. We go to flops of jack 9-8 rainbow and king queen jack with 2 spades. Action checks to me, I bet 90, and there are 3 callers, so we're going 4 ways to a couple turns. The turns bring a 2 on the top and a jack on the bottom. Action checks to me again, and I decide to check back as well, so still going 4 ways to 2 rivers. The rivers bring a 5 on the top and an ace on the bottom. The small blind now bets 220 over to Calvin, who makes the call. Other player folds over to me. Although I know my hand on the bottom is, of course, no good here, I believe I also would have heard from somebody if they had queen 10. So after thinking for a little bit, I make the call. Small blind turns over pocket queens for the full house on the bottom. Calvin turns over his hand. He has king 7-6 for the higher boat on the bottom. And me and Calvin are going to chop it up here. I go a couple hours, I rebuy another $500 bullet, and I go card dead for a while until I look down at ace 7-4 double suited on the button. Folds to me, I open a 40, and both the small blind and big blind make the call. So we're going 3 ways to a flop. Flop comes 8-3-2 rainbow. Both opponents check to me, and I bet the full amount of 120. Small blind folds, big blind thinks for a sec, and then quickly jams all in. And this guy's played for about an hour, and he's probably played over 80% of hands, so I'm just not really believing him here. So I quickly make the call, and we're going heads up to a run out.
I got very lucky. What the fuck is this?
Oh my God. What's up, guys? Wayne back here with you. So today I was in for 1,500, out for 0. If you haven't already done so, check out the previous video. I'll link it up here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.